Assassin's Creed Mirage is the best Assassin's Creed game ever made. Now, before we get into it, I've partnered with the Ubisoft to bring you this content, so huge shout out and big thanks to Ubisoft for providing me with access to Assassin's Creed Mirage, easily one of this year's best games. Once again, huge shout out and big thanks to Ubisoft. Really appreciate this one. Okay, Assassin's Creed Mirage being the best Assassin's Creed game ever made, maybe not, but it really all comes down to your preference. I love Assassin's Creed 3, but apparently a lot of people hate it. Anyway, the newest installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise is a straight up throwback to the older format of Assassin's Creed games. That nice open world single player story focused game that isn't a 156 hour RPG. If you're like me and grew up on the older games such as Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, and Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Mirage is the game that you've been waiting for all these years. Now, this is my first video that's like this, so bear with me as I try to figure out exactly how I want to tackle this video. In Assassin's Creed Mirage, you play as Basim, an assassin you met in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Throughout this game, you play through Basim's backstory from street thief to full-blown assassin. Now, before we get into the topics such as combat, open world, etc., I kind of just want to give my real raw first impressions of the game. And like I said, this is the Assassin's Creed game that a lot of us have been waiting for a long time. You know, a game that isn't a extremely long RPG game, essentially. You know, this is a direct callback to the older games that we all grew up playing. And like I said, if you were waiting for one of those, this is that game. I was slightly suspicious going into this, because I didn't really know how it would pan out with them going back to the older format. But through about 6 hours, I can confirm this is exactly what we've been waiting for. Down to the very last detail, from the story to the world to the gameplay, everything is exactly what you've been looking for and what you would want in a game styled after the older Assassin's Creed games. Now, getting into the combat, through my first 6 hours, I could not put this game down. Mirage has a direct focus on stealth gameplay, leaving that aggressive combat style of Valhalla and other games as a very last resort. If you're detected in Mirage, it's really in your best interest to try to hide or leave the area so that you can relocate to a better position to stay stealthy. because once you're detected and enemies start swarming you, it's extremely easy to get overwhelmed in combat. Now let's talk about the open world and the visuals, right? As soon as I opened the map, I was already surprised at how vast it actually was. It's been a while since I played those older games, so I don't really remember how big those maps were, but when I opened this, I was truly surprised at how vast the map actually is. And after playing for a couple of hours, it seems like there's a lot to do, a lot of side quests that are really enjoyable. You know, a couple escort missions, but you know, we get through those. But everything else has been an absolute joy to play through, from side quests in the cities to discovering chests in these underground caves. Now, hopping into the visuals and the graphics, when it comes to those, my God, even on my low to mid-tier PC, on high settings, this game looks absolutely amazing. And I really wasn't expecting my PC to really pull through on this one. I'm not gonna lie to you, but my boy's really pulling through on this one. The game looks amazing, and I kind of wish I got to play on PS5 or a higher end PC, because I feel like it could just look so much better. Now, a quick little thing I want to add in here. This codex section in the pause menu, where you get to read about lore on different characters and factions and enemies. A lot of games have it, but not a lot of games do it right to the point where you actually want to read through it. Mirage has done it so well that I catch myself reading lore on these characters and factions and just the world that I'm now a part of. Another game that came out this year that has really done that well was Final Fantasy 16. And I think these are the only two games that I really catch myself reading lore consistently as I'm gathering new information. Now, so far, throughout my first 6 hours, my favorite part, by far, are these assassination, I don't even really know, I forget what they were called, but like this big assassination where you gotta find a way to take out your target, right? You gotta find a way to lure out your target so that you can assassinate them. And there's so many options, from going in classic, you know, taking out all the guards around and just trying to get at them, right? But in Mirage, it's deeper than that. You can hire merchants to blend in through the crowds and make your way closer without detecting any guards. Other things that I haven't even gotten to try out, which just honestly gives a lot of these missions a lot of replay value. And of course, if you really want to go there, you could just walk straight through the front door and start getting wicked and just start fighting everybody. Like I said before though, high focus on stealth, but if you really want to go in guns blazing, I guess, by all means, you can still do that. So far in my time played, the parkour in Assassin's Creed Mirage and the free running is a little lackluster and at some times can feel kind of clunky. But I will say, through videos that I've watched from before the game was released, people who played it early, they said that developers said that as you go through the game, as Basim becomes more of an assassin and more well-versed in free running and the parkour and whatnot, it becomes more fluid as you continue to go through the game. Now, I haven't made it too far, so we're really just gonna have to wait and see if that really does hold up and if that does stand true. I'm hoping it does, but all in all, it's not bad. It more or less feels like the older Assassin's Creed games, just kind of fine-tuned to today's standards. given that this is just a first impressions video, that's really all I have to talk about right now. But I will 100% definitely be back once I finish the game to give you my final thoughts on this amazing throwback to the older OG Assassin's Creed games. Like I said, if you're a huge fan of those older games and you grew up playing those and you've been wanting one of those games, Assassin's Creed Mirage is it. It's the game you've been waiting for. And I'm not just saying that because it's a little partnership video. I'm so serious. They put a lot of time and work into this and making it so that it really feels like the older games. The newer RPG games, I couldn't really sit and play them for very long because it just wasn't my style of game. But this, honestly, I was debating even making the video, to be honest, because I really just want to play the game. So I'm gonna wrap this up so I can continue doing that. Once again, huge shout out, huge thank you to Ubisoft for allowing me to play this and bring you this content. Appreciate this opportunity so much. Shout out to Ubisoft, and that's it for me.